guys, welcome to The Stack. I'm Alex.
I'm Justin.
I'm Pete.
And today we're talking about a couple of original trades and collections for you guys. We're going to be talking about The Surrogates, Contraband, and Life Sucks. So let's kick this right off
Kick
by
it in,
talking
kick it into
about
gear.
The Surrogates. This, of course, is a collection of a series that came out a little while ago about a future society where people have essentially very realistic, lifelike robots that they can control from their apartments, so nobody ever leaves their apartments. This is actually going to be made into a film starring Bruce Willis, among other people, which is kind of cool. What do you guys think about the collection?
Well, I like the idea of it because it's kind of like where technology may or may not be going. You know, it's
science fiction.
Yeah, but yes, thank you for So I like
fantasy. We're just throwing out different literary genres.
Yeah,
right?
so I like the idea of it. I really got into it and I thought it was really cool, and I was crushed by the ending.
Oh wow! This is a very Vonnegut-esque series, I thought, and I really liked it.
Really? Vonnegut-esque?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Dystopian future, one idea kind of heightened throughout. Kind of funny.
Asimov?
Huh?
Heinlein?
No. I know what I'm saying.
I don't think you do.
Yes, I do. I definitely do.
Okay.
It's very similar to Player Piano, Vonnegut's book.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, really? Well, then why are you being a dick? Telling me that I'm wrong when you don't know what you're talking about.
This is nothing like Slaughterhouse-Five.
Yeah, okay. I will give you that.
I'm just saying.
Guys, I don't know if you've read of stuff by Bill Shakespeare, but yeah, very similar.
In any case, this is a really great speculative series. I thought it was very well done. Art initially throws me because it's very... This is going to sound ridiculous, but sketchy in a certain way. It's very much just like, here's the broad brushstrokes, literally, of what these characters look like. But it really grew on me over the course of the series.
Yeah,
plus there's a lot of cool backup material at the end of every issue that is very Alan Moore-esque. And yes, I have read Alan Moore.
I don't believe you.
Oh, man, he wrote Slaughterhouse-Five.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Yeah. Anyway, really great series. Didn't quite pan out the way I wanted to at the end, but what does in life?
Wow. Dark. This is a dark turn for the show.
I definitely felt like, at first I was confused by the panels, like I couldn't tell what was going on, but then I think by the end it was like, that's the way he set it out to be, so it worked.
Yeah, like the best science fiction, it takes a few ideas in our present day and takes it like a couple steps forward without getting too crazy and saying like all this other things happened. One idea forward and tells a good story. Yeah, I think it's good.
Speaking of that, and you guys would say pick it up.
Yeah, pick it up, definitely.
Prepare for your heart to be broken, but pick it up.
Okay.
Wow.
On a similar note, we're going to move on and talk about Contraband, which is an original graphic novel about a very near future. You can see kind of a trend occurring.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys like that?
Like, nice dramatic pause. Ooh. That's kind of foreshadowing.
Usage, specifically video mobile phone usage, has stretched to pretty much its limit. All over the globe, people are taking video of everything, in particular ultra-violence and ultra-sex and things like that, and they're all aggregated into a mobile channel called Contraband. What'd you guys think about this book? Yeah,
it's definitely like a YouTube, Apple phone gone evil type of feel to it, where it's just like people are just all about hits and what's
not like us. We're not about hits. We're not about hits. Cool.
But tell your friends.
Please get everybody on board.
But yeah,
it's a crazy. You guys watch the show.
It's a crazy ride. I feel like the art really did a good job of kind of setting the tone and kind of like the pace for it.
I did not like this. I thought it was all the cell phones. Cell phones are in a lot of movies now where it's like the cell phone's kind of a character where it's like, look at them doing bad things with cell phones. But it's like, well, we can move out of just having a story about cell phones. If your point is to talk about like ultra-violence and people exploiting it for their own gain, it doesn't have to be about cell phones. It can be on, do we care if it's on a cell phone versus a video camera?
Yeah. Well, my biggest problem with this, and I would say reservedly that I liked certain parts of it, it's certainly an interesting idea that is completely fully explored. So if at all you are interested in where mobile phones are going, I think it's interesting to read this.
However, your Verizon dealer tonight.
Like what I just said, way too wordy is my biggest problem. There's a scene later in the book.
He said it's way too wordy.
No, seriously, there's a scene later in the book where a guy is being hit by a car on the back of a motorcycle, and the guy apparently has time to say between the time he's hit and the time he's thrown for his motorcycle something like, "Oh no, clearly he was able to triangulate our position based on the SMS coordinates that are in my mega chip." While and there's like 5 more sentences there. I'm like, really, really? He had enough time to say that?
Maybe he could stop time like the early episodes of Saved by the Bell.
Wow.
Zach Morris.
Wow, dude. Way to bring it
That being
back.
said, I do think there's
Awful.
I'd put a definite maybe on this, depending on how interested you are in this particular subject.
I would say don't pick it up.
If you like cell phones and the future of cell phone technology, check it out. Don't pick it up.
Amazing. All right, let's move on and talk about Life Sucks.
Yeah,
This is actually coming out next month from Jessica Abel. It's the follow-up to La Perdita, her last book. What'd you guys think about this? Obviously a little different than La Perdita.
But still, I thought you were going to say the other books. I love this a lot.
And the other books.
It's very good. It's not as sci-fi oriented. It's more, I guess, horror, but set in the real world. And it was a great read, great characters, takes their time to tell the story, but still it's exciting.
The best thing I could say about this book is that I want to see more of this world.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see more set in the world of this book. And we're not spoiling a lot because, of course, it does come out and there's a little bit of a reveal within the first 10 pages.
I really
or
like
so.
the whole idea of like everyone kind of Hollywood's being a vampire, and they're like, what if it blows? You know?
I love that I said, we're not going to spoil this book because it comes out in a month. And then you were like, here's the concept of the book.
Well, I felt like we need to. Yeah, you're right. But I felt like it's so cool. You gotta share it. You gotta share.
I actually
to
don't
sell
have
the
a problem
book.
with you spoiling the idea of the book. It's just hilarious that you did it immediately after I said that we're not
Well,
going to
because I was listening to you and I was like, no, I really want to sell this book because it's so great.
Yeah.
Sell this book.
Again, I was a little heartbroken, but it's really just sets up a great world, and the art is just a big part of that. It's really great. I mean, I really got into it and just tore through the thing.
Yeah, it's a fun slice of life look at these vampires in California.
Yeah.
And
Radical.
you know, relatively speaking, the first 10 pages are very much like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going
Yeah.
on? And I just kind of felt like, all right, just get to the reveal already. And once it does get past those first 10 pages, it's very enjoyable and it never stops going and throwing out different ideas.
Yeah.
It's really great.
It's a great read. Again, a tough ending, though, for this, I thought, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that being said, that's kind of why I wanted to see more from the world.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Maybe
so-
we will.
Woo!
Maybe
All right,
we will.
after the break, we're going to have a panel discussion for you guys, so stay tuned.
Woo!
Hey guys, welcome back to the stack.
Go back
It's
to the
time
stack.
for a panel react.
Jack. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk today. Of course, we're talking about graphic novels that are science fiction and horror. The thing that I think is interesting about all three of these is they deal with really big ideas. Obviously, the science fiction ones do, but Life Sucks also posits a world that is entirely different from our own in a very specific way. So my question for you guys is, why don't comics deal with big ideas anymore?
Well, I think there's a couple of reasons, but one of them is that they are already dealing with their own world in such a way that, like, big ideas might conflict with what they've kind of, like, established. I feel like, you know, just to be lame and say Superman is an example of, like, an ideal person who fights for, you know, what is right and what is just. So that's already kind of like a big idea, you know, so I feel like if you get too many of those in there, it maybe, you know, people might get upset about it. But at the same time, it would be nice if, you know, to be on the other side of the issue, it would be nice if they did that a little bit.
Well, it's much easier to tell a story with these ideas in a graphic novel format because you can create a world and then live in it for a while and then move out of it. With regular comics, you know, it's hard because you have to continue
Continuity.
on and on and on. Having said that, though, the problem with big idea comics like these especially is it's hard to find an ending because you either have to close up the world and like, oh, it all makes sense, or like find a solution to these ideas.
And the way that regular comics solve that problem is they never end. They just keep on going.
Yeah.
Oh, they're immortal.
Yeah. Okay. And this
Like
is,
us, me.
This is, I mean, this is getting back to the thing that I kind of said a little bit before, but this is my problem with ongoing in-continuity comics.
Here he goes again.
Well, they're tied to these superhero worlds. It's like telling people who are writing novels, hey, you guys, you can write whatever you want, but it has to deal with these characters that we've already created, and it has to follow these rules we've already created, and then what you would have is every single fantasy novel.
Well, a novelist like Kurt Vonnegut often uses different novels with different characters, but he does have recurring characters through several of his novels. Yeah!
You only read one.
But somebody like
Contraband.
Kurt Vonnegut or Isaac Asimov, who deals with very similar ideas and does string characters throughout, it's held within those universes. They're dealing with those ideas because that's what's important with them, not because some editor is like, hey, can you put Batman in here this week? What about that?
Oh, what if Batman crossed over with one of these guys?
Oh my God.
That would
All
be a
right,
cool
that's-
fight.
That would be awesome.
Batman versus Kilgore Trout.
Wow.
Yeah, I know!
Yay.
I outfoxed him.
Yay.
And so, yeah, big ideas can't occur. I mean, think of when they take a comic and they're like, no, here's an idea we're going to deal with.
Well,
like
something
people
something
turn
like
off.
Civil War, for example. Actually, I think that's a good example of something that is a big idea, but at the end of the day, with the ending, this is actually a contrary to your point, with the ending of Civil War, it LePaged out. Sorry, I didn't want to say Petered.
Why would you not say Peter, but then say
it
LePage?
LePaged
You're
out
still
because they had to
pissing me
work
off.
it back into continuity.
Yeah.
Right? They couldn't tell the full story because there's other stuff that needs to go on after that.
'Cause they
That's
didn't
why I
kill
totally
everybody.
disagree with your point. I think you have more of a chance of having a nice, concrete, definite ending in a big idea graphic
But
novel.
these books don't do that.
Well, these are the exceptions to the rules.
Yeah,
And
but
I disagree because the end of Contraband does wrap it all up very
Yeah,
nicely.
it's easy when the books are boring to end.
well, that's
Oh,
what
my
sucked.
God.
That's what sucked about Civil War. It was all of a sudden they were fighting, and then it was like they're like, wait, what are we doing? And then you're like, I thought you were fighting for what you believed in, guys. That's what the whole point of this whole fight was. But then they were like, oh, this is wrong. Oh, this is wrong. It
Well,
was
also,
like a
what about
little-
something like Miracle Man? I mean, if you're looking specifically at Alan Moore's run, that does tie up in a certain way. It leaves a lot of stuff open. But then Neil Gaiman's run just sort of kept going with the world. And that's pretty much it. That's huge ideas, big ideas in comics, but they couldn't wrap it up convincingly.
Yeah, it's hard.
So maybe it just
It's
comes.
really, sometimes it's really hard to end a discussion about
it
something.
ain't easy, I know.
That's all I'm saying. Like, it's
Maybe-
really hard. Like,
I
when you're
wish-
talking about a big idea, it's difficult to wrap it up, come to an ending at all in any way.
I wish one of us would just die right now. That would end this conversation.
I hope it's you, even though you're eternal, apparently.
Exactly, I'm immortal, I can't die.
That would suck
If you
for the
guys
rest of the
have a
world.
I'll
question,
tell you more about that
call us at
later.
888-841-7549 or write it to tips@pulpsecret.com. You can upload your video responses on YouTube or comment right here below. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah,
I'll see you
I think
forever.
big ideas don't sell comics. That's what it is.
P. LePage doesn't sell comics, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and that's a LePaged out.
You're a fucking dick.
Come here.
No.